Hello again, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
And welcome.
And we have another bright fireball, this time one that exploded over Puerto Rico. And this one is another of the blue-green type, and it left a trail of smoke over the course of 30 minutes. They said at first it looked blue-green, and then somewhat orange, which suggests that the composition of the space rock was probably magnesium and sodium. And there's some video here too where you can see, and it comes and gets really bright. So we have a lot of objects coming around.
We sure do. We've had a lot lately.
And the other thing that we're going to have a lot of is probably for some of us, depending on where you are in the country, snow. And we have an early season winter storm hits northern U.S., breaking scores of snowfall records.
I'm excited for the snow. I'm ready.
Yeah, we will be seeing some next week probably too. Winter storm hit parts of northern U.S. this week, breaking scores of snowfall records in Montana, Iowa, and Minnesota, where more than 1,100 road accidents were reported due to heavy snow. A deepening upper-level trough and a surge of cold Canadian air now set the stage for yet another early season winter storm and more rounds of snow through early next week, possibly as far south as Texas.
Crazy wow.
Montana was the hardest hit with up to 14 inches of snow through Monday, setting a number of October snowfall records. This included the heaviest daily October snowfall of 8.2 inches on Sunday, the greatest October snow depth of 10 inches on Monday, breaking the previous record set in 2019. So you see a trend there as we're going to be moving more and more towards a colder climate as we get deeper into the grand solar minimum. And 2 rounds of snow covered parts of Iowa. On Sunday, Des Moines recorded its second earliest snow on record since 1885, and on Monday, central and eastern Iowa registered up to 9 inches of snow, the snowiest October day on record in Ankeny. So we see some of the snowfall totals.
Oh gosh, it's so beautiful. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I kind of am too, but after living so close to Death Valley, it'll drive you to the opposite extreme. I started getting visions of Montana and Wyoming.
I know the pendulum swings the other way now.
It does. But, 115 degrees will do that to you.
It will. It really will.
Especially if there's no AC.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So as we see here in Electroverse, record October lows and snow threaten majority of North America as Arctic air prepares to plunge south. So if you guys are anywhere out west, if you're in Utah, Colorado, Montana, Wyoming, New Mexico, and some spots in Arizona as well, get ready and take a look at what your local forecast is showing for Monday and Tuesday as this is going to come in. So it's going to get cold and it's going to get snowy and it's going to start feeling maybe like the holiday season, but maybe more like Christmas instead of Halloween.
I just want to go see the lights.
Yeah, right? Well, we got some nice Christmas trees around here. We could put some lights on, maybe some solar lights.
Yes, solar lights for sure.
Look at that plunge. Hang on there, Texas, as well. You're going to get some cold weather.
Yeah, be careful, Texas.
So northern hemisphere snow mass is above average. The Greenland ice sheet's astonishing gains are continuing. So we got some growth and we have some records coming on. And as you see here out of Electroverse, despite decades of doom and gloom prophecies and fear-mongering claptrap, the northern hemisphere continues to gain snow mass at a rate comfortably above 1982 to 2012. So, again, it's the grand solar minimum that we're heading into, which is going to give us, food challenges, but really nothing we couldn't overcome if the governments of this world were truly, going to put their attention to it and make it a priority.
That would be a really nice change. That would be great.
And around the globe, we have so much going on with drought and flooding, and it's never the twain shall meet. It seems like you got one or the other. So weeks of flooding leave 155 people dead in Nigeria, and so some parts of Africa are getting hammered with flooding. Other parts are actually in a very deep drought, and at least 155 people killed, 25,000 displaced after heavy rains and floods started affecting Nigeria in September. And it's a very, very sad situation. And all of this is going to, as they say right here, it's going to worsen the country's food insufficiency, and you're going to see prices go up. And I know David at Adapt 2030, Christian, Ice Age Farmer, they've been harping on this forever. We saw part of one of Christian's videos, yesterday I think it was. We were looking at it and stuff, and it's just obvious what's coming. And here we see how strange sounds. After the biblical locust plagues hit Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya, face devastating drought as the next rainy season in East Africa is forecast to fail, jeopardizing food security for millions of people. And again, if there was a will, there could be a way.
There really could if there was a will. But what's their motivation? They have none.
Well, we have all these organizations which you cannot critique, the alphabet ones, and, it's frustrating to see what's happening. And I've shared with you before, there's this 85-year-old gentleman up in Nebraska that's able to grow enough citrus to basically almost feed a little town because he has a greenhouse, a single greenhouse that's basically about 6 feet underground, and he's just taking advantage of geothermal heating and cooling, and he's able to grow magnificent citrus. We could do this on a huge scale. We could do this on a massive scale. Just look at all the areas right now that are going to be going offline for food production as the changes are coming in. And just simply, massive works projects instead of, doing all the fracking that we've done in southern Colorado, for instance, which is such a beautiful, beautiful place, as well as northern New Mexico and, actually over into a lot of the Native American lands. The fracking is causing poisoning of the water supply. Sure, it's driving our gas prices down a little, but then when you look at some of the videos we put up recently and talk about Tesla's technology that he had 100 years ago, we know it's there. There's really no reason to be on the system that we're on besides just greed, control, and profits. So instead of all the fracking, if they were out there building greenhouses utilizing geothermal heating techniques, putting them down into the ground en masse, we'd have plenty of food.
And, but they want control. So if they do control the food, they control everybody.
Just as many are surprised to know that often governments in the past and perhaps still are subsidizing farmers to not grow at certain times because they want certain price levels for their crops.
Well, and, hundreds of thousands of gallons of milk were dumped, too, a few months ago.
Yeah, and then we get into everything we saw with this whole plague upon the land. And, all the food that was just destroyed and all the animals that were just destroyed rampantly, this perfect storm that we see hitting us, that is going to give us tremendous inflation for sure when it comes to the basic food needs. So again, and here we're looking at Africa, which, is usually one of the first places that gets hit because of the poverty that exists over there. And it's just very, very, very sad.
It is sad, and we send our blessings.
Yeah, we send our love and our prayers to everybody that's already suffering, and let's send out our intention that we will have real change instead of this pseudo change, which is all we ever get with these political cycles. And so, are sunlight and vitamin D the same thing? This is something we've touched on many times, that, we've been conditioned to fear the sun, because of skin cancer and all. But when you look at it, when you look at the statistics, as this article is saying, and, and let me read it, it says, I'm a great fan of sunlight exposure to both the skin and the eyes. We have been brainwashed into believing that the sun is toxic, whereas in fact, it's life-giving. People who live in places with little sun have statistically higher risk of many chronic conditions, such as multiple sclerosis, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, autism, Alzheimer's, and age-related macular degeneration. Sunlight exposure protects from many different types of cancer. And I had 40 years ago, knew that there was something inherently wrong with just lathering on all these chemicals onto your skin. And, I haven't used sun lotion for decades. And, I really think that we have been misguided in so many ways by mainstream science.
Well, yeah, and the skin is the biggest organ. And if you look at all the ingredients on those bottles and you're putting that on your body's soaking it in, and we have to deal with all those toxins too.
In a paper published in 2016, Richard Weller wrote, "A substantial body of evidence shows that sunlight has health benefits and that these are independent of vitamin D and cannot be reproduced by oral supplementation." It boosts your endorphins, and it does help with the production of the feel-good endorphins. So there's lots of reason to get out into the sun, as well as the fact that the sun is giving us information, because light is information, light is knowledge, and it's transferring that to us as we absorb it into us.
It is. And just really quick from our friend Dr. Renee, now the importance of vitamin D because the plague upon the land. That's on one of the sheets that when she checks patients out, the most important thing people can do is take vitamin D.
Most definitely. Sunlight is protective against at least 4 distinct diseases and conditions: cancer, heart disease, hypertension, and bone fractures as well. In each case, studies have shown that vitamin D supplements cannot replace the benefits of sunlight. So they each play a role in our health. As always, my friends, I want to thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Stay safe out there, stay prepared, God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.